can't say I have a fear of public speaking, such as we're doing now, but it's easy. No, we're doing it with someone that I know. It's more difficult for me when even in a limited situation like this, where I think I'm going to be judged for what I say. And that comes to the death of my ego, I guess. I'm worried about getting cut down, and my ego gets wounded or dead.
Well, and this actually ties into something that I understand about how we rationalize as people, and and when I say I understand, in my experience of myself and in talking to other people around it as well. When I look at fear itself, it is our ability to rationalize things with our higher brain function that really sets us apart and buys into what we're going to talk about next, which is false evidence appearing real. Right?
Yeah, because that rationalization is a double-edged freaking sword.
Yeah.
Sometimes it raises us up, and sometimes it cuts us down. and it's the false rationalization.
So when we talk about, I at one point in my life, I had heard false evidence appearing real, and I thought I kind of understood what it was about. But when I got into really taking a look at what that meant in my life, what is false evidence appearing real, that wonderful acronym that we use for fear, and why is it so prevalent? To me, it's that our brains can cause our body through a thinking process to produce chemicals that simulate the emotions that we feel often. Fear being the biggest one. And so when we think, or when we imagine, because we're capable of imagining a future as opposed to just living in the present.
We're writing our story of the future,
Yeah, we're in our minds. And because of that, we tend to make it, when we make up a future that looks bad or something is scary, again, scary is subjective to how a person thinks about any given situation. But we have a scary situation. It's sort of like if you said, oh, what you're thinking about, what if a murderer comes through my bedroom door, just as you're trying to go to sleep, and you say, what if a murderer comes through my bedroom door? And all of a sudden you get that punch of adrenaline and all of the stuff that goes along with a murderer actually walking through your door, that we make that up in our minds, and our body just correspondingly throws that stuff out there that gets the adrenaline going.
Yeah.
Right?
See, the problem is fear has a very real place in our lives. It is there to send the signal of danger. It's there to protect us. And so when we get even the slightest little inkling of discomfort, I believe our body translates it into the full-blown word fear, instead of just noticing that something might be off or uncomfortable. And then we create this false evidence based on past data that was real.
Right.
Someone was there in someone's house trying to murder them,
Right.
and there's a creak in the night, and it's a murderer at our door. We start immediately to write stories, large and small, around the little bit of a feeling that was that was real, that our past data tries to write a story and find a reason for it and a rationalization of it, and it comes up with, I got murdered.
Right.
Because it has that data back there. It doesn't have the data that there's a bush scraping against the window.
The window, right.
Well,
and here we are, with that false evidence, obviously, and when it appears real, is like you said, it's like all of a sudden it appears real. But then there's the other part of this, where is you're not even, there's not even the brush is not even scraping against the window. You are anticipating brush scraping against the window, right? So all of a sudden you've just made up something out of whole cloth.
We've created these little loops
Mm-hmm.
in our lives, yeah.
So it's, to me, I just go, this is false evidence appearing real. It's that our minds are so strong and so powerful at this point that we are actually making up stuff that scares us.
Well, the best lies are based on just a little grain of truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And fear knows which little grain of truth to grab us.
Well, I mean, it's no different than the experience that we're experiencing now in with the coronavirus going on right now, that our brains are going nuts. It depends on who you are and how you think, but like a lot of people that I run into are they're either completely denying it or very, very scared. I find those two spectrums all the time because nobody knows what to expect and where we're going. And we keep making up these stories that we play in our heads and react, and unfortunately our body reacts in response to them like they're real.
So we are self-fulfilling prophecies for our own physical beings, at least.
Yeah. So it's sort of the nature of the beast. And if I go back to the reasons that we experience fear, so the two reasons that I came up with for myself, and add any if you think that there is some, is the fear of death and the fear of pain.
Okay, I think fear is there. I think there's a third reason now that I think about it. Fear is there to inform us of something. Inform us.
Inform us of something. Okay.
Yeah. Well, inform us
Yeah.
of possibly impending danger. It's not necessarily something that is, but that could be, given the data that it has.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I now the thing is, in my two base definitions, like my two roots of fear. So I go, if I'm afraid of pain and I'm afraid of death, then above that, so I wouldn't root that, what you were saying, down as a root, but also just sort of a one step up. Yes, fear does do that.
Well, not a root, a purpose of. How about that? There's a purpose for fear.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, it's not all bad to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Fear and pain, actually, for me, are there to make us take a look at. But if I have pain, okay, let's say someone stabbed me in the arm. Well, now I need to do something about it. Mm-hmm. Or if I just have muscle aches, okay, what did I do? What do I need to adjust? And this is very, very basic. What do I need to adjust my pain? Fear, if I'm going into a situation, okay, what danger may be in this dark room, and I have to now begin my higher intellectual abilities and start evaluating, because the fear has notified me that they're in there. So I think there's a purpose for fear and the pain that you reference that we are afraid of.
Well, no, I absolutely agree. I think that fear can be used in a number of ways, and eventually, for me, fear is just a flag, right?
Yeah.
Fear is just something that says, "Hey, something's up," right? And so then my conscious brain goes into that process that you're talking about. Is like,
and of course, it's going into that process. To put it, that is the higher function of fear, but most often we go into the story of it, and we stay in the story instead of the rationalization of it.